Lesson 110 has a lot of graphing to it, and it's actually kind of fun. The biggest thing I want you to do is to look at the parent functions. We talked about those in lesson 95, meaning the graphs of some different kinds of things other than a line. So what I want you to look at is on page 462 in your book, and it's the top 4 graphs. We see a graph for x squared, which is called a parabola. Then x cubed, which is a cubic, and then a square root of x, which is a sorry, I'm blanking. Where was I? We have a graph of the square root of x and then the graph of the absolute value of x, and they all have their distinct shapes that we talked about in lesson 95. So today, though, we're going to move those around on the coordinate plane, and their equation is going to change. For example, a vertical shift means anytime you have your parent or just your graph with a number out far away from it, it's a vertical shift. And I'll show you what I mean. And a vertical shift means up or down. So let's say we had this graph, absolute value of x plus 3. Now the 3 is outside of the absolute value sign. So what this is means that it goes up 3 units. So we take the old parent function, which the parent function looked like this. Right? I'm just going to lightly put it on there. So that's what the parent function means. Now with the transformation, it's going to actually be shifted up 3 units. So every point that we had is now up here. And the graph looks like this. And yes, I do want you to use a straight edge when it's an absolute value function. You can't use it for the others, but I'm going to put arrows because that means it is going to keep going. So all that means is we take the absolute value graph and move it up 3 units. Okay, sometimes we're going to have a horizontal shift. Now, notice the 3 was not really included with the x. A horizontal shift is harder, a left or right shift. The number that it goes left or right is included in with the x. And it's always the opposite direction as you would think. So I will show you what I mean. We're going to sketch the graph of the square root of x minus 3. Well, again, I'm going to do the parent graph just to remind us. It kind of looks like that. Okay, there's the parent. Now that we have minus 3, you think, and this is a left or right movement. If it had been square root of x minus 3, if you can see that, that would have been a shift. It would have gone down 3 units. But do you see how the 3 is included here under the radical? That means it's a left or right move. Now, because it's minus, doesn't it make you want to go left because that's where the negatives are? I sure do, but it's always, when it's a horizontal shift, left or right, it goes the opposite direction than you would think. So instead it goes to the right 3. So it's going to look, the real function is going to look like this. So I'm going to try and make it darker than my parent. Okay, so the parent function was here. Here's the actual. We moved it over 3 spaces. Okay, so that's a horizontal shift. Sometimes we have a reflection, and that is when you have a negative out in front. When it is negative, everything just flips or reflects over the x-axis. So the here is the parent cubic function. Okay, but now we are going to flip it over the x-axis. So what was up here is going to flip down here. So this was up here, and this was up here, so it's actually going to look like this. Make it darker. Okay, so that was the parent, and then this was the translation, the transformation, or the reflection of it. All right, now let's put a few of them together, a few transformations together. I see a negative and I see a +3 outside of the absolute value. So this +3, let's take the parent. Okay, again, the absolute value is the v. Here's the parent, and we're going to use the information here to translate it. Now we could either do the negative first or the +3 first. So the +3 means it goes up here, and so here's our first, you can't really, it's falling off the graph, but there's the first transformation. But then it's a reflection. So what was going up here now goes down here. It flips, not over the x-axis anymore, but it went about it over its vertex. So we could have done the flip first. We could have flipped him, moved him up 3, or move him up 3 and flip. The order doesn't matter. Try and make it dark, because here is the final equation. Sorry, I can't find my dots. I just got distracted listening to what was going on in the other room. I'm sorry, I know you guys would never do that at your own house. Get distracted by activities, but all right, so try to make it dark. There it is. So I could have taken the parent, reflected it over, and moved it up 3 spaces, or move it up 3 spaces and reflect it. So that's how that looks. Now we have practice. So I would like you to pause the video and then go ahead and try these. And then I want you to check your answers once you're done. All right, so I'm going to go for it. And I see a couple things here. I have an x² graph. So I'm going to go ahead and do the parent. And x² looks like this. Oh, there's my light parent, and then it's going to be shifted up 3 spaces. So what was down there is now going to be here, and it looks like it's going to go like this. Okay, it's a sketch, so no, it doesn't have to be beautiful, so that's what you should have. Letter B. All right, I see a number within the inclusion of x. So that is a horizontal shift. So again, it's the parent looks like this. Okay, parabolas are hard to draw because they're a curve, so it's hard to be perfect. You can't use a straight edge, so you just have to kind of practice it and just be okay that it'll never be perfect. I've practiced these for years and I still can't do it that wonderfully. Okay, so it's a horizontal shift, and horizontal means, okay, I really want to go to the right 3 spaces because it says plus, but horizontal is always opposite than what you want. So we actually have to go to the left 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and it's going to look like this. Not very good at it. Yeah, it looks like a V. It should be a little more curved, so I apologize, but at least it's in the right location, gang. All right, the last one, we're still with the quadratic or the parabola. Okay, there's my parent, and it's a negative, so it's a reflection about the x-axis, so it's going to go down here. And there we go. And I guess that's it. I thought this would take longer, but it's just I already had all my pictures, so it wasn't too bad. So go ahead and check your work and enjoy these. At least think of it as drawing. Okay?